You've seen the images. Stone altars dripping with blood. Priests holding up beating hearts. Hollywood loves showing us the Aztec Empire as a civilization of savage, ritualistic killers. But what if almost everything you think you know about Aztec human sacrifice is wrong? Not wrong because it didn't happen. It absolutely did. But wrong because the story you've been told is incomplete, sensationalized, and stripped of the context that would actually help you understand one of history's most complex civilizations. Today, we're going beyond the shock value to understand what human sacrifice actually meant to the Aztecs, why they practiced it, and how our own biases have distorted this history for 500 years. Let's start with the most infamous claim, that the Aztecs sacrificed 80,000 people in just 4 days during the dedication of the Templo Mayor in 1487. This number comes from Spanish conquistador accounts written decades after the fact. And here's the problem, it's almost certainly impossible. Think about the logistics for a moment. To sacrifice 80,000 people in 4 days, you'd need to kill about 20,000 people per day. That's roughly 14 people per minute, every minute, for 96 hours straight. You'd need multiple sacrificial sites running simultaneously without stopping for a single moment. Where did all these victims come from? How are they housed and fed while waiting? Where did all the bodies go? Modern archaeologists and historians have done the math, and most now believe the actual numbers were likely in the hundreds or low thousands for major ceremonies, not tens of thousands. Still significant, still shocking to modern sensibilities, but nowhere near the apocalyptic scale the Spanish claimed. So why did the Spanish exaggerate? Because they needed to. They were justifying the complete destruction of a civilization, the theft of an empire's wealth, and the enslavement of its people. What better justification than portraying the Aztecs as demonic monsters who needed to be saved from themselves? Here's what most people miss. To the Aztecs, human sacrifice wasn't murder, it was the most sacred obligation in their entire worldview. The Aztec creation myth tells the story of gods who sacrificed themselves to create the sun and set it in motion. The world had been created and destroyed 4 times before, and this 5th sun, the one we live under, required constant nourishment to keep from dying and plunging the world into eternal darkness. That nourishment was human blood. In Nahuatl, the Aztec language, blood was called chalchihuatl, precious water. It was literally the most valuable substance in existence. When an Aztec warrior was captured and sacrificed, it wasn't considered a tragedy. It was considered the highest honor, a destiny they trained for. Warriors who died in battle or on the sacrificial stone were believed to join the sun in the sky, living in paradise. Compare that to dying of old age in bed, which offered no such spiritual reward. The person being sacrificed often participated willingly, sometimes even enthusiastically, because they genuinely believed they were saving the world. Before sacrifice, they were treated with tremendous respect, fed the finest foods, and honored as living gods. Does this make it right by our modern standards? Of course not, but understanding the why matters if we want to actually understand history rather than just judge it. Now, let's be clear, there absolutely was a dark political reality beneath the religious justification. Human sacrifice served multiple purposes for the Aztec state. It terrified enemies and vassals into submission. It provided a constant motivation for warfare since they needed a steady supply of captives. It reinforced the power of the priestly class and the emperor, who controlled access to the gods. The Triple Alliance, what we call the Aztec Empire, demanded tribute from conquered peoples, and that tribute sometimes included people for sacrifice. This created real resentment. Some subject peoples genuinely hated their Aztec overlords, which is precisely why Hernán Cortés was able to recruit tens of thousands of indigenous allies to help him destroy Tenochtitlan. And let's not romanticize this. Not all victims were willing warriors. Some were slaves, some were children, some were prisoners of war who absolutely did not want to die. The practice caused real suffering, real trauma, and real political oppression. But here's the crucial nuance. Every major civilization of that era practiced violence that seems horrific to us now. Medieval Europe burned people alive for heresy. The Spanish Inquisition tortured thousands. Every empire built itself on conquest and bloodshed. The Aztecs weren't uniquely evil. They were practicing their religion in a violent world. modern archaeology has given us a much more nuanced picture than Spanish colonial accounts. In 2015, archaeologists discovered a massive skull rack near the Templo Mayor in Mexico City. It contained the skulls of at least 650 people, including women and children, confirming that sacrifice happened on a significant scale. But even this substantial find is nowhere near the apocalyptic numbers Spanish sources claimed. What's more interesting is what else archaeology has revealed. The Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan was one of the largest cities in the world at the time, with sophisticated aqueducts, floating gardens called chinampas that fed hundreds of thousands, universal education for both boys and girls, and a complex legal system. They were master engineers, poets, astronomers, and mathematicians. They created books, art, and architecture that rivaled anything in Europe. Montezuma's palace had botanical gardens and a zoo that astonished the Spanish. The city was cleaner than any European capital of the time. But we don't talk about that, do we? We reduce an entire civilization to one practice, ignoring everything else they achieved. Here's why this history matters beyond just getting the facts straight. The way we talk about the Aztecs reveals how we construct narratives about civilized versus savage peoples. These narratives were used to justify colonization then, and similar narratives are still used to justify viewing some cultures as inferior today. When we only focus on Aztec sacrifice while ignoring European atrocities of the same period, we're making a choice about whose violence counts and whose gets contextualized. The Spanish killed far more people conquering the Americas than the Aztecs ever sacrificed, but we don't define Spanish civilization by the genocide they committed. Understanding the Aztecs as complex people with a completely different worldview rather than as cartoon villains teaches us something crucial, that moral frameworks are constructed by culture and time, that people can genuinely believe they're doing something sacred while causing real harm, and that no civilization has clean hands when you look closely enough. The truth about Aztec human sacrifice isn't that it didn't happen or that it wasn't disturbing. The truth is that it was a religious practice born from a cosmology we can barely imagine, exaggerated by conquerors who needed to justify their own violence, and misunderstood by modern people who've been taught to see only savagery instead of the full scope of a remarkable civilization. The Aztec Empire was brutal, yes, but it was also brilliant. It was religiously devout in ways that led to practices we find abhorrent, but those same beliefs created art, poetry, and philosophy that still moves us today. History isn't simple, and the moment we make it simple, the moment we reduce any civilization to just one thing, we stop learning from it. If you found this deep dive into real history valuable, subscribe for more videos that challenge what you think you know, and let me know in the comments, what other historical facts do you want me to investigate? Until next time, keep questioning everything you've been taught.